Beloved child of the light, hear me now with the full weight of urgency and divine command. For this message carries the breath of heaven and the authority of the Almighty, and it is meant solely for your spirit on this very day, August 21st, 2025. A day marked in the scrolls of eternity for a divine appointment that cannot be postponed or ignored. I, Michael, the Archangel of Protection, War, and Divine Decree, have been dispatched directly from the throne of the Most High to deliver to you a word that will alter the course of your destiny, if only you will receive it with humility and faith. Time is pressing and heaven's clock counts in holy precision, for you have entered into a narrow 2-hour window of divine visitation where heaven's decree is being poured out like oil upon your head, anointing you for a transformation that will reverberate through your life, your lineage, and your very atmosphere. The urgency of this moment cannot be overstated, for this is not merely a word of comfort, but a divine revelation sealed by the courts of heaven, carrying with it new doors of deliverance, restoration, and provision. It is as though a veil has been torn and you are now standing at the threshold of a spiritual shift that will accelerate the promises long delayed, overturn verdicts spoken against you, and unlock the blessings sealed in vaults of eternity with your name inscribed upon them. The heavens are open over you, and in this moment of sacred alignment, the very breath of God hovers over your life, waiting to ignite what has been dormant and breathe into ashes the fire of destiny's renewal. Yet, as with all divine appointments, there is resistance, for the unseen war intensifies in the spirit realm, and I have been sent to push back the tide of opposition that has sought to drown your faith and extinguish your light. I tell you plainly, forces of darkness have raged against your mind, your body, and your path, launching attacks designed to weary you, confuse you, and entangle you in chains of delay, fear, and false identity, but their schemes shall not prevail, for by the decree of the Almighty, their arrows are shattered, their curses dissolve like smoke, and every resource stolen is commanded to return sevenfold. Heaven has seen the injustices you have endured, the betrayals that pierced your heart, the slanders that wounded your name, and the silent tears that flowed when no one else understood. But today vindication rises on your behalf, for the Judge of all the earth has issued a ruling in your favor, and I stand as both witness and enforcer of that decree. Know this: every false word spoken against you is reversed, every weapon formed against you is broken, and the very places where you were mocked will become the stages of your elevation, for the hand of God delights in exalting those who were humbled by trial. Yet, you must walk wisely, for the blessing about to manifest is not for the gaze of all, nor for the ears of the envious, for the enemy thrives on sabotage and jealousy, and so the Spirit warns, keep sacred what heaven seals, and speak little of what God births in the secret place until it has fully blossomed into undeniable manifestation. Secrecy is not fear, it is obedience. It is the guard that ensures that the seed planted in your spirit will grow without being uprooted prematurely. Guard this word like a treasure, carry it in silence like a hidden flame, and let your obedience shield the promise until its appointed hour of revelation. For indeed, you are stepping into a season of unprecedented transformation. The old has broken, and the new is rushing in like a mighty river, unstoppable and uncontainable. A new season of joy is dawning, one where restoration pours like rain and multiplied blessings break forth suddenly, where acceleration redeems the years that seemed lost, and where doors that were long shut burst open with unexpected favor. The barren fields of your past are being tilled into fertile soil, and the wilderness you wandered is becoming a highway of promise leading into abundance. This shift is not a whisper but a roar, and it comes to propel you into dimensions you once thought impossible. For the Spirit of God delights in confounding human logic by bringing forth miracles that no man can claim credit for. Yet to fully receive this blessing, you must prepare your vessel, clear the clutter from your mind, breathe deeply the peace of heaven, and affirm with your words and heart that you are ready to receive, not by striving, not by desperate grasping, but by resting in divine readiness. Do small acts of preparation as prophetic gestures. Clean a corner of your home, make space in your heart, breathe prayers of gratitude, and these acts will align you with the outpouring now descending. For as surely as I speak, signs will arrive within this holy window, confirmations tailored to your spirit that only you will recognize, whispers from heaven that say, "Yes, this word is true. Yes, this promise is yours." Do not overlook the small signs, for heaven often speaks through subtle wonders to those attuned in spirit. Chains of fear, doubt, and unworthiness are snapping even now. Tears will flow, but they are tears of release, washing away burdens long carried. Laughter will break forth, not forced, but springing from the joy of freedom rediscovered. Trust not in your own understanding, but in God's perfect timing, for He is neither late nor careless. He is precise, and today is the hour written for your breakthrough. Expect with peace, not anxiety, knowing this is not a test to be passed, but a gift to be received. Let joy be your banner and gratitude your weapon. For joy disarms the enemy's plots and gratitude anchors you in the reality of heaven's abundance. Do not let suspicion or delay shadow your steps. Walk forward with openness, welcoming the newness as it arrives, and expressing your gratitude even before you see the fullness, for thanksgiving seals the promise. Above all, know that you are not walking alone. God Himself matches your every step, His presence a shield that never abandons you, His voice a compass that never misleads you. I, Michael, stand not afar but near, guarding you from dangers both seen and unseen, surrounding your path with fiery protection, declaring that you shall not fall in this hour but rise. The invitation before you is one of new beginnings. Doors that once mocked you with their locked silence will now swing wide at your approach, and obstacles that once loomed as mountains will melt like wax in the presence of the Lord. What looked like endings will reveal themselves as beginnings. What seemed like loss will become gain, for the transformation now underway turns ruins into foundations and broken pieces into mosaics of glory. Enter into this new chapter with holy boldness, for heaven backs your every step. But walk softly too, with quiet focus, for in stillness the greatest treasures are kept. Guard the message like a flame, tend it with silence and prayer. Create inner space to hear the voice of God whispering in the deep places of your soul, for this word is not only for your ears but for your transformation. And finally, I must impress upon you the urgency. The time is now, and no delay is permitted, for this 2-hour window is divinely appointed and protected. The blessing arriving will break chains, shift lines, and fulfill promises, but it demands your faith-filled yes, your active expectancy, your willingness to let go of the burdens of yesterday and step fully into the promise of today. Therefore, rise, beloved, shake off the garments of sorrow, release the weight of yesterday, and stand clothed in light, for the decree has gone forth, and heaven will not take it back. This is your hour, this is your day, this is your divine appointment. Beloved, as the decree of this day unfolds, You must understand that what is being delivered into your hands is not only for you, but also for the generations that will come after you. For every divine appointment ripples through the timeline of your bloodline and rewrites the story of your inheritance. And today heaven has determined to break the cycle of lack, fear, and spiritual opposition that has long haunted your family's story. The chains that bound your forefathers, the patterns that seem to repeat in every generation, the curses that whispered lies into the ears of your parents and their parents before them, all of these are being severed by the sword of the Lord this very day, and I stand as the enforcer of that severing, cutting ties that you could never cut in your own strength, for the power behind them was ancient and deeply rooted, yet not greater than the power of the blood that speaks a better word over. Hear me, beloved, you will no longer live under the shadow of what others failed to break, nor will you inherit the failures of those who walked before you, for you are the chosen one in this lineage to carry the mantle of freedom, prosperity, and divine identity, and because of your obedience to listen, the altar of blessing has been rebuilt in your name and the curse has lost its authority. The Lord delights in lifting you out of obscurity, not merely to give you comfort, but to make you a signpost for others, to show that His covenant is unbreakable and His mercy endures through all generations. And yet, child, there will still be voices that rise to accuse, forces that seek to cast doubt, and moments where the enemy will attempt to convince you that this is too good to be true, but you must stand firm, anchored not in fleeting feelings but in the eternal truth of what heaven has spoken over you this day. Stand in expectancy, yes, but not as one waiting with anxiety, rather as one standing in quiet confidence, knowing that the one who promised is faithful to perform. Fix your eyes on what cannot be shaken, for storms may come, distractions may arise, but the blessing is sealed, and your name is etched into it like gold on a crown that cannot be melted. Even now angels are dispatched around you, some carrying scrolls of strategy, others holding weapons of war, all aligning with my command to ensure that nothing and no one will rob you of the inheritance being transferred into your care. I tell you again, the next hours are not ordinary. They are carved out as holy as a sanctuary in time itself, and within this sanctuary the whisper of God will meet your spirit in ways that may surprise you, ways you cannot anticipate, but you will recognize them because your soul will burn with confirmation. Do not dismiss what seems small, whether a word spoken by a stranger, a symbol that crosses your path, a dream that stirs in your rest, or a sudden surge of peace in the middle of your daily tasks. For all these are signs woven by heaven to assure you that the shift is real and unstoppable. Release your old burdens in these hours, and I mean truly release them. The guilt you've carried for mistakes long forgiven, the shame of failures that taught you lessons, the weight of responsibilities that were never yours to bear, the fear of rejection that silenced your voice. Lay them down, for chains are broken only when the captive no longer clings to them. Let the tears fall if they come, let the laughter erupt if it bubbles. For these are the holy signs of healing, the outward expressions of an inward work that has been ignited. You are being positioned not to survive but to thrive, and this thriving requires trust that surpasses the logic of your human mind. Do not look for the usual paths, expect the unusual, the sudden, the extraordinary, for your Father delights in creating a way where there was none. And while you wait in expectancy, cultivate joy, for joy is not merely an emotion but a weapon of great power, a fortress against despair, a light that confuses the adversary, for the enemy cannot comprehend the one who rejoices in the middle of transition. So, rejoice, even now, and give thanks, even before your eyes see the fruit, for thanksgiving pulls the unseen into the seen, and joy prepares your vessel to carry the abundance about to pour. Do not despise the days of preparation, for they are not delays but alignments, holy pauses where heaven rearranges your steps to match the rhythm of destiny. And as you walk through this, never forget that you are not alone. God is closer to you now than your very breath, His presence matching your stride, His hand guiding even the smallest detail. He is with you in the silence, with you in the laughter, with you in the questions, and He will not abandon you, not even for a moment, for His covenant is eternal. I, Michael, remind you of my assignment: to shield, to war, to guard, and to ensure that what heaven decrees becomes reality on the earth. Know that around you is an army, though unseen, and within you is a fire that no darkness can extinguish. This is not a season for hesitation but for bold steps into the new beginnings set before you. Doors once sealed against you will swing open without resistance, and opportunities thought long lost will reappear with greater favor. What seemed like endings in your story are being revealed as divine transitions into beginnings far richer and more purposeful. The seeds you thought had died are only now sprouting into life, watered by the tears you once cried, for nothing has been wasted, and every pain has been transformed into fertile soil for joy. Step into this newness with humility and courage, for it is yours by right of inheritance and by the decree of the King of Kings. But walk also in stillness, guarding your focus, keeping your heart quiet before the Lord, for in that stillness the clearest guidance will come. Maintain sacred silence over this word. Treat it as you would a precious flame, shielding it from winds of gossip, doubt, or premature exposure. Create within your spirit a sanctuary of focus, where the noise of the world cannot drown the whisper of heaven, for in this quietness, you will hear the gentle nudges of the Spirit leading you into the precise steps you are to take next. And as this holy window unfolds, remember this: the urgency is real, and the blessing is sealed. Heaven's decree is not tentative, it is absolute. The hour is marked, the scroll is opened, and the promise is active. You need only to agree with it, to align with it, to embrace it in faith and expectancy. This is your hour, beloved, this is your divine appointment, and nothing in heaven or on earth will prevent the fulfillment of what has been spoken, unless you choose to let unbelief rob you of it. Therefore, hold fast, stand tall, and let your spirit echo back to heaven. Yes, I receive. Yes, I believe. Yes, I step in. And as you do, watch how the chains shatter, the lines shift, and the floodgates open. For this is not only the promise of a moment but the beginning of a lifetime of divine alignment. Beloved one, as the divine river flows more deeply into this sacred hour, I must press into your heart the weight of expectancy and the necessity of steadfast trust, for what is unfolding is not fragile, though it may feel delicate, and it is not uncertain, though it may appear hidden. It is the firm decree of the Eternal One, spoken before the foundations of the earth, and now being released into your life with undeniable power. You must allow your soul to settle into peace, for peace is not the absence of movement but the assurance that every movement is orchestrated by the hand of God, and in that peace you will find the capacity to discern, to act, and to rest without falling into confusion or delay. Stand in the awareness that heaven has already gone before you, that angels have mapped out the steps that you cannot yet see, and that what appears as a wilderness is in truth a carefully prepared path that only reveals itself when you walk forward in obedience. This is the hour to release all leaning on your own understanding, to cease the endless analyzing of how or when, and instead to step with childlike expectancy, for God delights in honoring those who trust without demanding proof, and He takes great pleasure in revealing His goodness to the heart that waits in simple faith. Do not confuse expectancy with striving. Expectancy is a posture of rest, a readiness to receive, while striving is the restless grasping of a heart that fears lack. And you must know today that lack is no longer your portion, for abundance has been assigned to your name. I remind you again of the importance of joy and gratitude in this unfolding, for these are not passive attitudes but powerful forces that align your atmosphere with the frequencies of heaven. When you choose joy in the face of uncertainty, you open the door for miracles, and when you express gratitude for what you do not yet see, you pull it from the unseen into the visible. Let thanksgiving rise like incense from your lips, even now, for every breath you take is evidence of divine faithfulness, and every step you walk is proof that heaven has not forsaken you. Rejoice in small things, for small things are often the first fruits of greater harvests, and do not despise the beginnings, for in their simplicity they carry the blueprint of fullness. I, Michael, tell you plainly, the more you anchor yourself in gratitude, the more swiftly you will see the promises manifest, for gratitude accelerates the hand of heaven. And know that joy is not only for your strength, but it is also a shield, for the adversary cannot penetrate the fortress of a heart that rejoices in the Lord, and he cannot bind the one who chooses to sing in the midnight hour. Therefore, let laughter come to you freely, let songs rise without restraint, let your soul dance even in quiet moments, for this joy is not foolishness but warfare in disguise, confounding the darkness and glorifying the light. And as you rejoice, be assured that the presence of God surrounds you like a mantle that cannot be torn. The Lord is not afar, He is not distant, He is with you, nearer than your own heartbeat, moving with you through every breath, guarding you through every step. His companionship is unbreakable, His love unshakable, His guidance unfailing, and you are never abandoned, not for a moment, not in your silence, not in your confusion, not in your weakness. I, Michael, assure you also that my assignment is bound to yours, that I stand in this very hour not as a distant watcher but as an active protector, pushing back the powers that would seek to harm, standing between you and the threats that you do not even see, and ensuring that the decree spoken over your life will not be intercepted or delayed. Be comforted, for you are guarded on every side. The flames of heaven's army surround you, and no arrow will find its mark against you in this time. The invitation before you, beloved, is one of wholly new beginnings. Do not look back at what closed, for those doors were shut by divine wisdom. And though at the time it pained you, today you will see why the Father allowed the closure. Those locked gates were never meant to open, for behind them were snares and traps, but now you will find that new doors, once invisible, stand before you and they will yield easily at your touch. Step forward with courage, for the keys have been placed in your hand, and what once resisted will now welcome you. For the atmosphere itself is shifting to align with your calling. The ashes of your past are not wasted but will be the fertile soil for the garden now blooming, and what you thought was a wilderness of endings is in truth a place of beginnings, where God Himself has hidden treasures waiting to be unearthed by your obedience. Do not fear starting over, for beginnings in the kingdom are never fragile. They are filled with power, growth, and multiplication. See every new step as an invitation to trust deeper, to grow stronger, and to expand beyond the limits that once contained you. Yet even as you step into these beginnings, guard your quietness, for noise will surround you, voices of doubt, opinions of others, distractions of the world, but the voice of God is clearest in stillness. Treat the message you have received as a sacred flame, shielding it from winds of chatter and impatience, nurturing it in silence and prayer. Learn to withdraw into moments of holy solitude, where your spirit can breathe deeply of heaven's peace, and in that quiet, you will hear the whispers of guidance more clearly than ever before. The Spirit will not shout over the world's noise, but He will speak in gentle nudges, in impressions upon your heart, in subtle confirmations that you will recognize because your spirit is attuned. Create inner space for Him, and He will fill that space with clarity and direction, guiding your next steps with precision. Above all, beloved, remember that the time is urgent, and the urgency is holy. This 2-hour window is not ordinary time but sacred time, sealed and appointed, guarded and consecrated. You cannot afford to dismiss it or delay your response, for heaven has aligned everything in these hours for your release. The blessing coming is not partial but full, not temporary but enduring, and it will break chains, shift inheritances, and bring forth promises that were written for you long ago. This is the day the Lord has made specifically for you, and the heavens rejoice at your yes, at your willingness to believe, at your boldness to step into alignment. Do not let fear or doubt whisper lies into your ear. Silence them with the truth of what I speak to you now. The promises are sure, the decree is sealed, and the fulfillment is certain. All that remains is for you to embrace it, to open your heart without reservation, to receive with joy what heaven has been waiting eagerly to pour. Therefore, beloved child of God, stand with boldness, walk with expectancy, guard with wisdom, rejoice with freedom, and rest with peace, for the word of the Lord has gone forth, and it will not return void. This is your hour, this is your day, this is your divine appointment, and I, Michael, declare by the authority given me from the throne of the Almighty, it shall be so, it shall be done, and it shall be seen. Beloved one, as we come to the fullness of this divine appointment, let the weight of these words not only rest upon your ears but sink deep into the soil of your heart, for seeds planted in this holy hour will bear fruit for years to come. Understand that every word I have spoken is not mere encouragement, not mere poetic language, but decree, heaven's law spoken into your atmosphere, shifting the structures of your life to align with the perfect will of God. The final urgency is this: do not treat lightly what is holy, do not grow casual with what has been consecrated, for these hours are etched in eternity, sealed as turning points in your destiny. The blessing is arriving, and with it comes a final breaking of chains that have long entangled you. You will feel the release not only in your spirit but also in your body, in your thoughts, and in your daily walk, for the shift is total. The lines of your life, where you thought there were boundaries, ceilings, and limits, are being redrawn by the hand of heaven, giving you greater expanse, wider influence, and deeper authority. Promises once delayed are suddenly being accelerated, doors once sealed are bursting open, favor once withheld is now poured out in double measure. This is the justice of God, the balancing of the scales, the vindication of one who has stood in faith despite opposition, betrayal, and weariness. And so I speak with urgency: hold fast, for this is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. Let go of all that would tether you to the past, unforgiveness, regret, fear, and the lie that you are unworthy, for they cannot accompany you into the land of promise. Only faith, expectancy, and obedience can cross this threshold with you. I see angels even now unrolling scrolls of new assignments, new mantles, and new blessings, and these scrolls carry your name, written in golden letters. They are being handed to you in the Spirit, and they contain instructions, opportunities, and treasures specifically crafted for your journey. As you receive them, do not delay in obedience. If you are prompted to act, act swiftly. If you are urged to rest, rest deeply. If you are called to speak, speak boldly. If you are told to remain silent, guard your silence. Every instruction carries weight, and every act of obedience secures the manifestation of the promise. This is not the time for hesitation, nor is it the hour for doubt. The clock of heaven is moving, and you must move with it, stepping in rhythm with the Spirit, for every delay risks missing the appointed alignment. Yet do not be afraid, for the grace of God is abundant and His mercy unfailing, and He is patient with you even in your trembling steps. Still, I urge you, do not postpone what heaven has made urgent, for the moment is ripe and the harvest is ready. Step boldly into this release, for you have been prepared, anointed, and chosen. Your season of wandering is over. Your season of inheritance is here. Lift up your head, open your hands, and receive the outpouring, for heaven has decreed it, and I, Michael, stand as witness and warrior to enforce it on your behalf. Child of the Most High, rejoice, for your tears have not been in vain, your prayers have not been ignored, your waiting has not been wasted. Every moment of pain has become a seed for this moment of joy. Every hidden battle has now turned into a testimony of victory. Every closed door has been the preparation for this open gate. Walk forward now with confidence and humility into the fullness of who you are, a beloved heir, a chosen vessel, a radiant child of God whose name is written in the Lamb's book of life and whose destiny cannot be stolen. This is the appointed hour of fulfillment, and the heavens are rejoicing with you. Even as you hear these words, the angels sing, the hosts of heaven resound with victory, and the fragrance of breakthrough fills the air. Carry it with you, walk in it, guard it, and never forget that you are not alone. The presence of God surrounds you, the armies of heaven protect you, and I, Michael, will continue to walk with you as long as this assignment requires. The gates of hell will not prevail against you, the schemes of the enemy will not prosper, and the promises of God will not fail. You are sealed, protected, and propelled. This is your time. This is your shift, this is your divine appointment, and so it shall be established forevermore. And now, beloved, as this message settles into your spirit, I give you one final prophetic charge. Do not keep this word hidden only for yourself, for though it is personal, it is also generational, and though it is sealed for protection, it is also meant to flow through you to those who hunger for hope and long for heaven's touch. There are others in your family, your circle, and your friendships who are waiting, whether they realize it or not, for the sound of heaven to reach them, and you have been chosen as the vessel of that sound. Therefore, share this message not as one sharing mere words, but as one carrying a flame. Share it with those you love, that they too may step into their appointed inheritance, that they too may break the chains of yesterday and walk into the blessings of today. Share it with friends who are weary, that their strength may be renewed. Share it with family who are searching, that their hope may be restored. Share it with anyone whose spirit is longing for confirmation that heaven has not forgotten them, for your act of sharing may very well be the key that unlocks their destiny. And I urge you, prophetically, as one who stands under the weight of this holy assignment, to remain connected to the flow of these messages, for heaven speaks in seasons, and each word builds upon the last, preparing you for the fullness of God's design. Therefore, do not wander from the fountain once you have tasted its water. Stay near, listen closely, and keep your spirit aligned with the channel through which these words come. I speak to you with holy seriousness. Subscribe to Archangel Inspire, not as a casual act, but as a prophetic step of obedience, as a declaration that you choose to remain in the stream of divine revelation that heaven is pouring in this season. By subscribing, you are aligning yourself with ongoing words of light, ongoing decrees of heaven, ongoing waves of encouragement and prophecy that will carry you from this moment into the next appointed time. Do not let this connection slip away. Seal it by subscribing and remain attentive, for the Spirit will continue to speak through this vessel in days to come, and those words will be the very oil that sustains your flame when the night grows long. And as you subscribe, I ask you prophetically to do more. Share this channel, share this message with family and friends, not as mere promotion, but as the spreading of holy fire. For what you share multiplies, and every person you invite may become another vessel carrying heaven's flame into their world. Be bold, beloved, for you are not just a listener, you are now a carrier, a messenger, a light. Subscribe, share, and remain steadfast, for together the army of light is rising, and nothing in this world can quench what heaven has begun. This is your divine appointment. This is your inheritance, this is your command, and so it is decreed.